Hey guys, today on Rocket Punch, we're gonna show old Squid Face the right and the left as we dive into the Call of Cthulhu starter box set. Let's go check it out.
All right, guys, today we're gonna take a look at the Call of Cthulhu starter set by Chaosium. So I finally got to play Call of Cthulhu. I've had it on the shelf since actually last Christmas. I bought all the Cthulhu stuff, and I just have not played yet because I was on a long Dragonbane campaign. So let's take a look at this. I like the cover's really cool. I like the dark, just everything, this eldritch green kind of colors here, and the tentacles coming off. And her expression is really cool. I like that. I like the finish. It's kind of a matte finish. And look at all this. Too many words. I'm not going to read all that. You got Master Cthulhu there and has all this cool stuff in here. So, yeah, this is a great box. I think it's really worth the value. And I think after I really looked at this and got into Cthulhu a little bit, yeah, you don't really need the full Keeper's Guide or the Player's Handbooks, because a lot of the adventures come with the characters as pre-gens, and I think in Cthulhu I really like pre-gens. I just want, they die, here's a pre-gen, ready to go. You don't really need to make one, but you can kind of make your own character. There's a couple little things in here, which is kind of cool, that they do give you pre-gens, but they give you a very basic character creation, so you can adjust the stats as you like, or put things here and there, which is nice for starter sets to include that. So you get these dice. They're serviceable. They're not like my favorite. They're a bit basic. It would have been nice if they were a bit more, I don't know, eldritchy green or some more sickly green or something. They just kind of seem like your basic colors, but they're fine. I mean, if this is your first role-playing game, that'd be pretty tough, but I mean, they're fine. They're serviceable, and you can never have too many dice. So you get the first book. You get, actually, technically, if I want to get in order, you get book one, which is Alone Against the Flames. So this is a complete solo journey, and you actually get to make your own investigator, and there's a couple different options you have to choose, but it's instead of rolling, you just put the stats where you want them, which I really liked. And yeah, it's kind of like a choose your own adventure, but you're actually, using the actual character sheet to play with. So it kind of sets up, if you have this skill, make that roll, or if you want to attempt this, do that. Yeah, so yeah, this is really good. There's actually a lot of different Alone in. There's like Alone in the Frost, Alone in the, what the frick is it? Alone Against the Flames. Oh no, that's this one, Alone Against the Flames. I can't remember what the other one's. Alone Against the Frost, Alone Against the Flames, Alone Against the Static, which is kind of a more modern take. I haven't played that one yet. I haven't gotten that. Oh, and Alone Against the Tide, which is kind of a like a Dagon storyline. So there's not a lot of art in this one, but it is enough to kind of be interesting. But you don't really need any, like, I don't know. I find in Cthulhu I don't need a lot of art, because it's pretty easy to imagine these kind of like it's basically the real world, but just a little bit fractured, a little bit odd. So I think it's pretty easy to kind of imagine these things. So that's book one. Then, getting back to book two, a very small pamphlet, very, very tiny, of the rules. And I love, this is a really cool, I love how they're running against this crazy creature. So it talks a little bit about the player roles. This is really cool. I like that, just like unknown. You got some online resources for the game. Then it talks about how to create the investigator. So if it's D100, I'm sure everyone knows what Cthulhu is, but just showing you this starter set, at least my buddies. So you get your, you got your strength, your con, your power, which is kind of your force of will and your spirit, your dexterity, everyone knows, appearance, how handsome you are, your size, which kind of, it's like your height and weight combined into one. So it can kind of go either way. If you have a high score, you could be really tall, or maybe very husky and like kind of on the strong side. Or you could be bulky. Then your education, which is also a nice stat because it's kind of like, as this is a mystery, and sometimes your players are just like, man, I don't know what to do. I'm lost. You can have them roll their education, which is also kind of like their to know skill. So that's always kind of handy to kind of give them a hint or drop a little hint. Like your characters kind of are getting the gist more than you are. So it is handy. And then you got your half and fifth characteristics. So you got your hard success, your critical success, and difficulties. And then you have your secondary attributes. So your damage, your bonuses, your hit points, your move rate, your sanity. So hit points in here are pretty low, but if you play like Pulp Cthulhu, you can adjust that. That way in Pulp Cthulhu, you're actually kind of going after the creatures, where in regular Cult of Cthulhu, you're trying to avoid them as much as possible. And it's really about this investigation of what's going on. I love the sanity points. So every time... So I really like sanity in games. It's very fun. And Call of Cthulhu, they have a nice chart in the back that kind of goes over all the different types of rolls that you would make with different sanity levels. So sometimes even if you roll and you save your sanity, you still take sanity damage or whatever. You lose some sanity. So it goes over the little bonus here. It gives you a couple occupations that you could do in your sample investigators without buying the full book. You get the antiquarian, the author, the dilettante, doctor of medicine, the journalist, police detective, private investigator, and professor. So really, I don't know, I think that's more than enough to make a whole bunch of characters and play a couple games and kind of get the gist before you drop on the very large tome of Cult of Cthulhu. It goes over all the skill descriptions, which is nice. It's also a good reference, so when you do buy the big book, you can just have this at your side. You don't have to look through everything. It's all on a 2-page spread. Oh, sorry, it's on a 3-page spread. This is also skill descriptions. Then you have your backstory and some final touches, and then it kind of goes over on the character sheet here where everything goes. So that's pretty easy. Then it goes right into the game system, and I don't know, I feel actually like a D100 system is like the perfect system for getting into games if you're a newbie. I think more than D&D, D20, all that other stuff. Like everyone knows what a percentage is, I think. I don't know. America, I don't know. Math here sucks. So I think most people know what percentages are, so I think most people can get an idea, like, what's my chance of success? 33%. Oh, okay. What's my chance of success? 70%. Everyone kind of gets that. Also, you get bonus and penalty die. So if you have bonuses, just like this nice picture shows you, you're going to roll 2d20s and take the highest one. You're going to take 2d10s, and you're going to keep the highest one. And if it's a penalty, then you're going to take 2d10s and take the lowest results. And then you also have luck rolls. So luck rolls can kind of be anything in the game. So do you have extra ammo? Is the door locked or unlocked? Or do you happen to have this, that, or the other? You can roll your luck. And if you get under it, then that thing happens. It's kind of nice. It's a nice thing. And I know in the other books, in here they don't talk about that rule, but you can actually burn luck in the regular Cult of Cthulhu with the optional rule set. But in here, it's just a straight up roll. Then you got your sanity. You got the nice sample phobias and manias. You have your bouts of madness table, which is fun, and your insanity summary, just kind of going over the general rules. So if you lose 5 or more points at any one time, you kind of go temporarily insane. Then after 1d10 hours, you get to come back to sanity, unfortunately. Then there's a basic combat. So in basic combat, you're going to roll your fighting or your like firearm skill or pistol skill. So in combat, initiative is basically flat. Whoever has the highest dex just gets to go first. And then you have basically three combat skills. You have fighting, dodge, and firearms. So in close combat, you use fighting against a dodge skill if you want to try to dodge, but you can't do two things at once. So if they're going to fight you, you can just attempt to dodge. Or you can not dodge and just fight back and just take it and fight back, which is an option. Then you got your firearm rules, which is basically the same. So in firearms, you're going to roll your firearms, and the other player can attempt to dodge, technically dodge, but your dodge roll is not dodge bullets. You can't dodge bullets, so you're diving for cover. So you'll roll your dodge first, and then the player or NPC that's firing at you, if you succeed with your dodge, then they roll with a penalty. And you have a nice little chart here of weapons and damage. I think that's not enough. Like, I don't really require like what type of rifle, what type of this, what type of that. I like just like a flat little kind of example like this of like small arms, medium, high caliber stuff. I think it just makes it easy, and then you can just flavor it as you wish. Then you have some fighting maneuvers. You can try to disarm someone, knock an opponent to the floor, seize and hold an opponent. And it's mostly just using your brawl skill, fighting or brawl skill. And in Call of Cthulhu, guns do a lot of damage, and you don't have a lot of HP. Like, you can't like absorb a bullet. So yeah, you'll be dying a lot if you get into any kind of real gunfights or something like that, unless you're playing, again, Pulp Cthulhu. So once you get to 0 HP, you're gonna get a major wound. So as long as you don't have a wound, you heal 1 HP per day. If you do have a major wound, then you need to make a healing roll at the end of each week. If you succeed, you gain 1d3 hit points or 2d3 points for an extreme success. There's also other types of damage here. And then it just goes over some experience points, how to gain experience. And we messed that up my first game because we just came out of Dragonbane, and we had Dragonbane on the mind. So every time you use a skill successfully, you're going to make a little tick by that skill. And then when the scenario's over, you get to, if you roll above that skill, then you get to apply a D10 increase in your skill points. So if you get a D10, that's pretty nice, extra 10%. Tells you a couple other books to buy, and then you get your quick reference chart for the half and fifth values, which is pretty handy. So that's everything in book 2, the rules. Now book 3. This is really good. This is where I think the value really comes in. So you get like 4 adventures essentially. You get the solo adventure, and then you get 3 adventures in here. You get Paper Chase, which is a classic, and then 2 other really good adventures. So this one's the adventure. I don't want to go into it, so I'm going to flip through it kind of quickly. So it gives you the 5 pre-gens, which is nice. You can just hand those out. Then you go through Paper Chase, which is a very hand-holdy, kind of railroady adventure, but it's really nice for like a first-time players and first-time keeper to kind of get the feel of the system, because it's very different from a combat-heavy game. So that was nice. Even though it was pretty easy, I kind of, made it a little bit different, kind of gave them more options, but basically fell in the same kind of storyline as the adventure. Then you got Edge of Darkness, which is a really cool adventure. We're playing this one right now. The cool thing about Call of Cthulhu is these handouts, but I can tell you this specific adventure, yeah, you have to read like a couple pages of cursive notes. And like after just working on computers for years and years and years, I don't remember what cursive looks like anymore. So it was like, wait a minute, I had to like get my brain back in high school mode or something like that. But yeah, Call of Cthulhu has all these cool handouts. You get this nice map of the adventure. You get some nice pictures of what's going on. And you get to fight a hobo, which is always fun. And a nice pentagram that they have to trace out. And some other cool, you got some little zombies. And so that's basically the end. It looks like a lot of stuff in these adventures. And I'm used to running kind of thin, like easy, more up to the GM what's really happening with short text description. So, I had to get used to this, but it's really more training for a keeper rather than a lot of stuff you have to remember. It's just kind of helping you tell the story. So you don't really need this. It's actually very little to each kind of area. So it's more like a coaching text and kind of getting you in. So you can skip a lot and you can just kind of play it by ear. And then at the end of each adventure, it has like just a quick 2-page spread, I think, 2-page, yes, of just some characters in here that you can use in the adventure. Then you get the third adventure, Dead Man's Stomp, which I have not played this one yet, but it looks pretty cool. It sounds pretty cool. Anything with dead in it, that's always a classic. That's always going to be good. You know it. And people jumping out of coffins and things like that. And this mysterious trumpet. Power! But yeah, this is pretty good. I like how they play all this. And then you have the little spread talking about the actual Call of Cthulhu and the Doors of Darkness. So, very cool. And inside the bottom of the box, the end of this, you get all those notes that are in the book. So you can pass these out, or if you're at the table, which is nice, you can hand them. Unfortunately, I have to play over the intranets, so I just kind of read them and then I threw them in the Discord so they could take a look at them as a reference. But it works. I mean, I'm used to playing Theater of the Mind anyway, so nothing really bothers me. I don't need handouts. So you get these nice big maps. Pretty big. But the biggest thing, I really like the investigator pages. It's pretty decent thickness paper. It's not too thin. And they kind of have this weathered look, which is really nice. And then you have a little photo of each person. When I handed these out, I told them you can change the names. You can change the portrait. They don't have to use those. You can just use the stats. On the back, it also has other stuff like backstory, but you can always have them redo that. And then you just have the Chaosium and what's in the box. And you also get a couple blank pages that you can use when you do your Alone in the Darkness, or you want to make your own characters for the starting adventures. But I recommend everybody just grab a pre-gen. It's just easier for new people to get into it. And so that's it. Little short one. I really like Call of Cthulhu. I really like this kind of cosmic horror. And I really lean into the cosmic horror and like the darkness of it, the unknowable, the eldritchness of it. Is that a word? I don't know. But it just feels that spooky kind of like what's around the corner, what's going on. I like to try anyway to kind of throw them off the trail with a lot of like fake leads and stuff like that. So yeah, I really recommend everyone giving this a try. I think it's only like $25 on Amazon. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal. And you get everything in here. 3 adventures, basic character generation, and a solo adventure. So it's chock-a-block full of everything you need to get your Call of Cthulhu game going. So until we meet again on Rocket Punch, this is me, Rocket Punch, signing off. See you later. Rocket Punch! Later.